Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to library class. My name is Mrs. Hopkins, and I hope that you were able to watch the little video that I linked on the seesaw assignment. It's called The Little Red Hen. The Little Red Hen is a fairy tale that talks about how the little red hen tried to get the other animals to help her, and no one wanted to help her. And she did all these chores for making the bread, and then when it came time to eat the bread, everybody wanted to eat the bread. So I hope you watch that, because our story today is what I call a fractured fairy tale, meaning that it is based upon another fairy tale, but it's changed up a little bit. Now remember, fairy tales might start with once upon a time. They might end with happily ever after. They might include magical elements. They might include good and evil characters. They might include enchanted settings, means it's magical. Or sometimes they use a lot of numbers, like 3 animals or 7 animals, or something like that. Now, this particular book does not do that. It does not have the number 3 or 7 in it. It's called The Little Red Fort, and it's a fractured fairy tale that is kind of like The Little Red Hen that you were able to watch at the beginning. It is by Brenda Maier. And lots of times fairy tales have a moral, which is a lesson of how we should act. And by Brenda Maier, pictures by Sonia Sanchez. Ruby's mind was always full of ideas. One day she found some old boards. "Who wants to help me build something?" she asked her brothers. And in the story, just like the little red hen, they all said no. Oscar Lee pretended not to hear her. Rodrigo gave her a look that could melt popsicles. Jose almost fell off the fence. "You don't know how to build anything," they said. Ruby shrugged. "Then I'll learn." And she did. And that sounds familiar, doesn't it, from the video, from the little red hen. "Who wants to help me draw the plans?" Ruby asked. The boys clutched their sides and howled with laughter. "Not me," said Oscar Lee. "I don't think so," said Rodrigo. "No way," said Jose. "I'm too busy." In the original story of the little red hen, they would say, "No, not I. No, not I." "Fine," said Ruby. "I'll draw them all by myself." And guess what? And she did. You could say that with me every time. Satisfied with her plans, Ruby asked, "Who wants to help me gather the supplies?" "Not me," said Oscar Lee. "I don't think so," said Rodrigo. "No way," said Jose. "I'm too busy." "Fine," said Ruby. "Then I'll do it myself." And she did, just like in the little red hen video. When all the supplies were gathered, Ruby asked, "Who wants to help me cut out the boards?" "Not me," said Oscar Lee. "I don't think so," said Rodrigo. "No way," said Jose. "I'm too busy." "Fine," said Ruby. "I'll cut them myself." And she did. And of course she had her family's help, because that's not something you would try by yourself. When all the boards were neatly cut, Ruby sang, "Who wants to help me hammer in the nails?" "Not me," said Oscar Lee. "I don't think so," said Rodrigo. "No way," said Jose. "I'm too busy." "Fine," said Ruby. "I'll hammer them all by myself." And she did. And of course she had her family's help, because it involves a hammer, and you should. And it says, Ruby's Fort. Look, she made it. Soon Ruby's creation was complete. "Who wants to play in my fort?" she called. Me, said Oscar Lee. "Let's go," said Rodrigo. "I'll play," said Jose. "I'm not busy anymore." So now they all wanted to go play. But Ruby said, "Not so fast. You didn't help me draw the plans, or gather the supplies, or cut the boards, or hammer the nails. You said I didn't know how to build, and you laughed at me. I'm going to play in the fort by myself." And she did. "We didn't want to play anyway," the boys said. But they did. So they huddled, whispered, and got straight to work. Oscar Lee made a mailbox. Rodrigo planted flowers. Jose planted the fort fire engine red. Ruby was delighted. That evening, the boys followed a delicious aroma to a fort warming party. Who wants to help me clean this plate? Ruby asked. Look at the fort. It's red. And they did. So you could build your own fort. You need to ask your family's permission. You could build it out of different things that you might have around your house. Or you can just build a model of a fort. Come up with a plan. Come up with the supplies. And then build a model of it. Maybe using Legos or popsicle sticks or building blocks. Or you might build a fort for real. But of course ask your family. This might be a good way to do it with chairs and just a blanket. Or if you have some other things that you could use. Those are some ideas. So you could build a model of one, a small one that you couldn't really get in. Or you might ask your family if you could build a real one. And look, they're still playing. And that's the end of The Little Red Fort by Brenda Maier and pictures by Sonia Sanchez. Happy reading, everybody.